What's really going on in the real estate market? We're going to talk about that right now. Hey everyone, it's Alex Fung here, Daryl King team, Remax Hallmark, and today we're going to be talking about the Toronto real estate market. Let's just get right into it. So I'm sure you've heard by now that the market is crashing and the market's crashing. And let me tell you that it's not. Okay. Now, the first thing is, obviously the rise in interest rates is causing a lot of buyers to panic. Okay. But it's not just that, right? The very first reason is it's a psychology issue, right? A lot of mainstream media is talking about, how the real estate market is dropping in terms of price. But the real estate market is the only asset class that gets the most polarizing coverage in media. Now, I'll give you an example, right? All the mainstream media is comparing is the all-time high of February. Okay, whereas other asset classes like the stock markets, the crypto market, they get more of a yearly basis of more information and data points. Okay, and actually you'll be interested to find out that the NASDAQ composite, which includes all the major corporations that are publicly traded, that dropped by about 18.5% within the same period of time, and the crypto market dropped almost 30%, again in the same period of time. You'll be happy to find out that, all the types of homes in the city of Toronto outperformed that in the same time frame from June 2022 versus June 2021. Okay. Now, the second reason why people aren't buying is that, it is a lot harder to get a mortgage rate right now, right? It's starting to become more strict. Now, I've spoken to a couple of lenders and they're saying to me some of the banks are requiring their applicants to provide 35% down payment. Okay, now that's quite a lot. Before, you didn't have to put so much. So you might be asking yourself, are prices going to stabilize? Well, absolutely. And the main reason is because, we're in Canada, right? We're in the GTA, and immigration is a highly demand factor. For example, immigration, last year had over 400,000 immigrants, which is record breaking. Majority of them will come to Toronto and the GTA. And the Canada just announced that they are going to make it a lot easier for highly skilled workers to come to Canada and get permanent residence. Okay. That's important because this was implemented in 2020. But now, because of the pandemic, they shut that off and now they're restarting it again. Okay. The employment growth is 8.5% too, which is good to know. Now, if you are an investor, okay, and you have tenants, they're giving you income, which is great. What you need to think about though is not just the dollar value, but the actual return you're getting compared to inflation, right? So the Bank of Canada did announce that from May 2021 to May 2022, that inflation rate is 7.7%. Okay, which is saying that, the average cost of goods, right, a basket of goods, the cost of that's gone up by 7.7%. Okay, now I'm sure you're aware that the tenant board said that you can only raise your rents by 1.2% for this year. And then next year, you can raise it by 2.5%. What that really means then is you're losing 6.5% this year and then 5.2% the following year. Okay, so you may consider, you may want to actually sell your property because your property price has gone up dramatically. Okay, it's still a pandemic, right? It's still gone up. The rates are still very low. Okay. Now, if you're not an investor, that's okay too. I'm speaking to lots of clients and, sometimes they just want to downsize. They have a really big home and, their needs are not helping them anymore. It's getting worse. And, they want to avoid the stairs, right? So a lot of them want either bungalows or condos, right? And whatever's left over, they want to help. Some of it will help their kids, right? Because prices of homes are still, are still high, right? So let's just jump right into the numbers, okay? Because I'm a numbers person. And let's just go into it. So in Toronto, the average sales, okay, the total number of sales was 2,422 homes that sold last June versus the June before 3,850. So that's a decrease in about 37%. Okay. Now, the interesting part is there's even more listings available, okay, from the same time period by 22% or 23%. 6,290 versus 5,128 homes. Now, the average price did go up, okay, by 6.7%. So the average home price in Toronto went from 1,079,749 to 1.15 million. Okay, 6.71%. Now, the type of market, it's still a seller's market. Okay, don't think it's a buyer's market yet. A buyer's market is when there's more than 6 months worth of inventory in the market. Okay, right now it's only 2.6, which indicates that it's still a seller's market. It is taking 2 days longer to sell the average home in Toronto. It's good to know. Now, another important point is the fact that there are a lot of condos in Toronto, okay, which affects the average sale price in this calculation, which is why I'm going to break it down further for you guys to look at. And in case you are in the market for these types of homes, okay? So let's just go into it. So for the average detached home in Toronto, the number of sales decreased, okay? It was 747 homes versus 1,085 homes the year before that. In terms of the active listings, right? There's more homes available, over 1,600 versus a little over 1,300. So it's an increase of 21%. The average price did go up by 2.18%. Okay, it still beat the Nasdaq Composite. It still beats, the crypto market. 1.7 million is quite a bit. Okay, now the type of market, it is starting to shift to a buyer's market. Okay, and it's taking the same amount of days to sell, 12 days. Now, the next type of home we're gonna look at is the semis, right, in Toronto. So there are 245 homes that sold versus the year before that, 422. The number of listings, it has gone up to 413 homes, okay, versus 305. So it's a 35% increase. The average sale price did go up by 6%, right? So 1.34 million versus 1.26. And it is starting to shift definitely to a buyer's market, okay? And it's selling on the same amount of time of 11 days. Now, townhomes, 78 homes sold versus 126. The number of available listings did go up by about 12%, 168. The average sale price did go up by 2.41%. So the average townhome price in the city of Toronto is 1.276 million. And it is changing to more of a buyer's market, okay? And it is taking longer to sell, okay? From 10 days to 14 days. The second last one is the condo townhome, right? So there's 165 homes that sold last June versus 299, which is about 45% decrease, okay? And there is more listings available, about 15%. Now, interesting point here is that the average price increased by 11.83%. So the average condo townhome in Toronto is 909,285. And it is it's starting to shift to a buyer's market, okay? It's not there yet. And it's taking one additional day to sell. All right, so last but definitely not least, the condo apartments in Toronto, right? As I was mentioning earlier, condo apartments there are a lot of them in Toronto, and that's why it affects the average sale price. So let's just go into it. So there are 38% less homes that sold for condo apartments, okay? It drops from 1901 to 1165, and there are more listings available, okay? About 23%. There's about 3,500, over 35, almost 3,600 homes of condos, apartments available. The average sold price did go up by 7.5%. Okay, it's not tanking. And it is definitely switching to more of a buyer's market. Okay, it's still a seller's market, 3.08. And it is taking about 3 days longer to sell. Okay, so if you have any questions, please let me know. If you have any family, friends looking to buy or invest as well, let me know too, and I'll be happy to help. Take care. Bye-bye.